If you've made the decision to take the leap from Cognos to Power BI, then you already know you have a potential large-scale migration on your to-do list. So in today's video, I want to share a tool we've developed here at Centaurus called Report InstaMigrator. And with it, you can instantly migrate your Cognos models and reports to Power BI with just a few clicks. So there's both good news and not so good news when your organization decides to take the leap from Cognos to Power BI. The good news is obvious. You're about to be more integrated into the Microsoft Fabric family of products with one of the best BI and data visualization tools in the industry. The not so good news is the daunting task of migrating all of your existing Cognos content into your shiny new Power BI service. So here at Centaurus, we've identified this as a major hurdle and developed a tool to automate this entire process for you. In a nutshell, you can take all of your existing Cognos models and reports, convert them to Power BI datasets and reports, and even publish them to the Power BI service with just a few clicks. So let's take a closer look at Report InstaMigrator, and I can show you just how easy it is to move some content from a Cognos environment to a Power BI workspace. All right, so here we are in Cognos, and our goal for today is to migrate 2 reports and 1 Framework Manager model from this Cognos environment into a Power BI workspace. And here's the model we'll be migrating. It's called the record package. If we go to our reports, let's go ahead and open up the first one. It's called the 2-page record report. And you'll see that it's a very simple report. On the first page here, we have one list with a list of album names and a second list with a list of artists. And on the second page, it's just a single list with genre information, so nothing too complicated here. And the same goes for our second report. It's literally called the simple record report. And if we open that up, you'll see that it's basically a data dump of our Framework Manager model into a single list on one page. So that covers the Cognos side of things. And what we're going to try and do is land those 2 reports plus the FM model into this Power BI workspace. And what we should end up with is 2 Power BI reports and 1 Power BI dataset. And to handle that job, I can finally show you Report InstaMigrator. And here it is. So the first thing we'll do is connect to this local database. The next screen will show us all of the packages we have in our Cognos environment. Let's go ahead and search for our record package. Here it is, and we'll select continue. The next screen is a list of all of our reports in our Cognos environment. Again, we'll search for our 2 record reports. We have our 2-page report and our single record report. And when we hit continue, we'll be taken to a summary screen that basically says we'll be converting 1 package and 2 reports. And we actually set up a local folder on our machine called Report InstaMigrator. And when we do hit convert, the new Power BI files will be sent to that local folder. So let's go for it and hit convert, and it's done. Now you can see how fast it is here. Now, if we look at our local folder, which previously was empty, we now have an output folder that has our datasets and our reports. If we go into datasets, we have our record package that used to be our Framework Manager model. And if we go back to our reports folder, we have our 2 reports, the simple record report and the 2-page report. So let's go ahead and open up this record package. And what you'll notice is the file type is PBIP. And this format actually gives us access to the code underneath the datasets and reports, which is the reason we can automate this whole conversion process. So the first time we open up this dataset, it will throw some errors, which is to be expected because we actually haven't connected to those data sources yet. So all we have to do is refresh this dataset and create those connections. And after it's refreshed, you can see in the data pane that we effectively have what was the presentation layer in Cognos, which is the album table now in Power BI. We have our album name, our artist name, our genre, so on and so forth. Now, if we look behind the scenes a little bit and take a look at the model, the Cognos namespaces have been transformed. So the physical, the business, and the presentation layer have all been transformed into separate Power BI tables. with all the join relationships maintained. The physical and business tables have been hidden by default because as report developers start coming in and building reports with this data set, we wouldn't want to show them those tables, which would have also been the case in Cognos, where we're only showing the report developers the presentation layer. So we're actually ready to publish this data set. So if we go in and select publish, it'll ask us to save our changes and select our Report InstaMigrator workspace. And if we go to our InstaMigrator workspace, you'll see that we have successfully published that data set. So pretty quickly here, we've already taken our Cognos Framework Manager model, converted it to a Power BI dataset, and published it to the Power BI workspace. So let's take a look at how we can do the same thing with our reports. If we start with the simple record report and open it up, it will again throw some errors because we haven't connected it to the dataset. All we have to do is point it to the dataset that we just published, go to Get Data, Power BI Datasets, and select our record package dataset. And you can see that we have a report output that matches our Cognos report. We have our list that is now a table visual in Power BI, and we can go ahead and publish this report to the workspace. And when we check out the workspace, you can see that we have our simple record report in our Report InstaMigrator workspace, and it's successfully been published. So just another example of how fast and easy Report InstaMigrator makes this process. So if we take a look at our second report, which was slightly more complex, there were two lists on the first page and a second page. If we open the report, we will have to go through the process of connecting to the data set again. And when we do refresh, you'll see that we have our two lists that have been converted to Power BI tables. And the same goes for the second page. We have our single list that was converted to a Power BI table. So let's quickly publish this report and we'll finish out our goal for the day. We'll go to publish, again, ask to save the changes, select our workspace, and publish. And to round this all out, going back to our workspace, we have our record package dataset, our simple record report, and our two-page record report, all successfully converted from our Cognos environment to Power BI and published to the Power BI service. Another feature we built in is a way for you to be notified if there are any errors in the conversion process. So let's go back to Report InstaMigrator and I can show you how it works. So from the conversion confirmation screen, you can see that we did inject a warning here. If we open up that warning, it basically says that there was a query item expression that was skipped in the conversion process. And what Report InstaMigrator is doing in the conversion process is converting those calculated columns in Cognos to DAX expressions. So if there are any scenarios where Report InstaMigrator can't figure out that DAX translation, then you will get a notification for it. And as we continue to develop the process of converting Cognos expressions to DAX, you should be seeing less and less of those. And the last feature we want to share with you today is GitHub integration. So let's check it out. From the Publish tab in Report InstaMigrator, we can create a GitHub repository. We'll give it a name and hit Publish. And Report InstaMigrator will create that repository for us in GitHub based on the local folder that we selected for the conversion process. So if we take a look at GitHub, you can see that we do have our repository. And if we go to Issues, Report InstaMigrator has created an issue for each report and each package that was part of the conversion. So we have our simple record report, our two-page report, and our record package. And if we go into pull requests, we have corresponding pull requests for each of those issues. If we open up one of these pull requests, we can see the code that Report InstaMigrator generated to convert our Framework Manager model and our reports from Cognos to Power BI. So now with this GitHub integration, you have a really nice way to formalize your BI development process with things like code reviews and DevOps. And there you have it. We really hope you got an idea of how Report InstaMigrator can accelerate your migration to Power BI. And if you have any interest in this product, please make sure to follow the link in the description below. Also, feel free to shoot us an email at info@centurus.com or leave a comment if you have any questions. And as always, if you like this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date for when we put out new content. We'll see you on the next one.